Hello everyone, I'm Karanveer Kamra. Welcome to Law Academy. Topic for today's video is types of agreements. Today we will understand what kinds of agreements become a contract. So let us start with our video. Let us first understand what is an agreement. Agreement is a promise between two parties. Agreement is a promise between two parties to do or to not do something. Agreement can also be An agreement can also be called as a meeting of minds between two parties. Now let us understand what is a contract. So any agreement which is enforceable by law, any agreement which is enforceable by law is a contract. Let us come down to the types of agreements. So briefly, there are three kinds of agreements. First is the social agreement, second is the domestic agreement, and third is the commercial agreement. So I'll give you very brief that first two agreements, that is the social agreement and the domestic agreement, cannot be formed as a contract. Whereas the third type of agreement, that is the commercial agreement, can be formed as a contract. Now let us see this with the help of an example. So if I talk about social agreement, an example would be promise for marriage, right? A boy has promised to marry a girl. A boy has promised to marry a girl. So this is a social agreement. Now, if I ask you, if later on the boy is unable to marry the girl, if the boy is unable to marry the girl due to any of the circumstances, can the girl go to the court and say that the boy has breached a contract? He is liable to pay me damages? The answer is no. Why? Because social agreements cannot be called as a contract. And if it is not a contract, the other party is not liable to pay any damages as per the law followed in the courts. Now let us come down to the domestic agreement. An example could be between a husband and a wife. So husband has promised to his wife that on her birthday he will gift her a diamond ring. But due to any of the circumstances, the husband is unable to fulfill his promise of gifting the diamond ring. So now can the wife go to the court and say to the judge that please tell my husband to give me the diamond ring or pay me the damages because he has unable to fulfill his promise. So the court will say that we cannot interfere between you two because this is not a contract. This does not involve any financial transaction. This does not involve any consideration. Only there is a promise by your husband to you that he will gift you a diamond ring. But there is no consideration. So therefore, this kind of agreement is also not a contract. Thus, we are left with only commercial agreements which can be a contract. Let us see how. So see, we understand by the term commercial, it means business. So commercial agreement is a business agreement, right? So any business agreement involves profit making. So why do we enter into a business agreement? Two parties enter into a business agreement solely their motive is to make profit. They want to make some money, and that is why they are entering into a business agreement. So business agreement puts legal obligations on both the parties to perform their part of the contract. And if any one of the parties is unable to fulfill his or her part of the contract, that person is liable to pay the damages to the other person. And that is why the commercial agreement can become a contract. So I hope I'm clear that only business agreement can become a contract and social agreement and domestic agreement cannot become a contract. So, in a brief, we have three kinds of agreements. First is a social agreement, second is a domestic agreement, and third is a business agreement or a commercial agreement. So, social agreement and domestic agreement cannot be formed as a contract. whereas a business agreement can be formed as a contract. And the reason is because that business agreement is enforceable by law. The business agreement is enforceable by law, and that is why it can be formed as a contract. So I hope you like today's video and stay connected with me on Law Academy. Thank you.